Stop right there. If you've ever found yourself doom scrolling because they took 3 hours to reply, it feels urgent and painful, like you are actively losing something. But here is the hard truth you aren't hearing. That frantic chasing triggers a biological flight mechanism in the other person, causing them to run just to keep their autonomy. We are chasing for more than love. We are chasing chemical spikes, specifically dopamine, the same reward system, hijacking a gambler. You are training their brain to see you as a source of temporary relief, rather than a secure haven. To unlock obsession, you have to stop acting like you need them, and start teaching their brain that they need you. Let's break down the exact dopamine triggers that make people addicted to your presence. Think about your biggest crush. You spend all your energy trying to be the MVP, doing favors and buying coffee, hoping they'll finally notice you. But what if I flip the script? Psychology has a sneaky little hack called the Benjamin Franklin effect, and it blows your high price tag out of the water. This relies on the concept of cognitive dissonance. When you ask someone for a small favor, like borrowing their notes or picking out an outfit, they don't just lend a hand. Their brain frantically rationalizes it. They cut to the chase and tell themselves, "Why am I helping him? He must be amazing." You stop paying for their affinity and start earning it by leveraging their own logic. Ever hit a conversation that feels like sliding into a warm bath? That instant connection happens because you unconsciously mirror their body language, triggering a neurological, "I know this place" reaction, known as rapport. This is Pavlovian conditioning in action, physiological synchrony signals. I am safe, I am one of you. It isn't about copying blindly, but dancing with their energy. When they breathe, their brain releases neurochemicals that make them crave your presence. Suddenly, you aren't a stranger. You're the constant, reliable rhythm they can't resist. You've likely heard the IRS strategy, essentially the trap of constantly reassuring them. But here is the hard truth. That is the fastest way to become invisible. When you offer 100% availability, you signal low value and kill the mystery that fuels passion. Psychology demands that we crave what is scarce. Treat your time like a luxury, not a commodity. That intentional radio silence isn't rude. It is the ultimate aphrodisiac. By staying busy and unpredictable, you turn them into a hunter chasing a rare prize, and that delicious ambiguity is what will make their obsession entirely out of control. Imagine someone snatching a thrilling mystery book away from you right before the big reveal. Frustrating, right? That's the Zeigarnik effect, a psychological truth that proves our brains obsessively hold on to unfinished loops while instantly forgetting completed ones. If you want someone to crave your attention, stop offering total closure. Start painting a picture or promising something exciting, then abruptly cut the conversation. That biting off sensation creates a burning mental itch they have to scratch, forcing them to chase you down to close the loop. You aren't just hanging out, you are triggering a psychological hook that makes them desperate to finish what you started. Stop treating your connection like a predictable sitcom rerun. Biologically, our brains crave dopamine, not just comfort. In fact, dopamine is actually the chemical for star anticipation, meaning the brain learns and remembers faster when you surprise it. Think of every interaction like a slot machine. If you pull the lever and hear the same clink every time, it's boring, right? You need those rare bells and whistles to stack the odds. Next time, instead of repeating a dinner date, spend an afternoon exploring a chaotic antique market, or learn a completely new skill together. Snapping them out of autopilot doesn't just keep the flame alive. It forces their brain to build fresh neural pathways around you, making the addiction to your presence undeniable. Picture a rare diamond set in velvet. The display creates the allure, but the inherent value demands that people stop and stare. That's what projecting high confidence actually does. It acts as a fearless mirror, proving you love yourself enough to display that worth to the world. Psychology suggests we are magnetically drawn to high-status signals, assuming that if you value yourself this deeply, you must be a prize others are foolish to ignore. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, where your elevated self-perception forces everyone else to upgrade their opinion of you instantly. Grab your phone right now. Put it down. Look at it like a digital leash that's dragging your confidence down. Psychology calls this your reward value. If you chase every notification the second it buzzes, you teach people you are always available, which instantly lowers your desirability. You want to kill that overtexter trap by mastering the art of the deliberate silence. Leaving a gap isn't rude. It is a calculated power move. It signals that you aren't sitting by the phone waiting for a buzz, but are out living your own exciting life. That autonomy creates a magnetic mystery that forces their brain to wonder exactly where you are. Think of emotions like a silent virus you might not see, but certainly feel. When you step into a room radiating high-vibe energy, you aren't just acting happy, you are physically wiring their brain circuits to match yours. This is known as emotional contagion, driven by mirror neurons that compel us to mimic the people closest to us. You simply can't drag anyone down if you are busy lifting them up with your own magnetic enthusiasm. Be the shining lighthouse on a dark shore, creating a gravitational pull that makes them obsessed with the anchor you provide. Now let's talk about the secret weapon that actually keeps them hooked. Think you're playing the ultimate power move by leading someone on, banking on that sweet pursuit. Don't. In psychology, false ambiguity is a trap that backfires instantly because mixed signals trigger a defensive impulse to retreat. You're essentially telling a high achiever that their time isn't worth commitment, which shatters the trust you just built. Ambiguity feels like rejection looming over their head, so instead of falling deeper, they pull back to protect themselves. The trick isn't risking the chase, it's the catch. If you want them obsessed, you need to stop treating them like a prize you hold and start showing them you are the stability they need, or you'll watch this investment vaporize right before your eyes. Playing the game feels electric at first, like running your hands over a hot stove, intense and addictive. Sure, but eventually you get burned. Psychology tells us that obsession fueled by tricks is like drinking water from a leaky bucket. No amount of chasing can keep it full. The real shift happens when you drop the act and trade the thrill of the chase for genuine safety. You don't become the puzzle they need to solve anymore. You become the home they instinctively return to. When you value your own worth, the attraction shifts from physical sparks to a deep need for your soul. That's the level of connection people actually die for. Stop caring about the height of the wall and start focusing on how wide the door is.